Good to have you back on Global Business Report here on Arise News. My-Flair, an indigenous startup, has launched an app for women healthcare tips and all-round women care. The firm also announced that since its pilot launch, My-Flair has completed a successful first round of capital raising, which has been used to fund commencement and take off. Right here in our studio, we have the founder of My-Flair, Oluwaseun Fadiora, to tell us more about this app. Oluwaseun, it's good to have you. Good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. So what's this woman-centric app all about?
Okay, so we developed this app that, helps women to keep track of their periods. And it's also an app that women can also use to get access to information. And part of the information they have access to is to be able to chat with a doctor. They can also get access to information via the blogs. We also have counselors who are on ground that will be able to chat with people who have any mental issue whatsoever, and then they can get help before they actually need to have a physical visit. So it's creating an opportunity or an avenue for people to be able to talk to a doctor or to a counselor with the shield of technology covering them, and they won't need to be able to see physically because, people might have issues they don't want to, discuss openly initially. So that gives them the confidence to understand that, look, you're not alone in this, and then they can seek help going forward.
Very good. To a large extent, it's a good app, a good idea, as it were. But what has been the response? I take it that the app is currently running.
Oh, yes, the app is
So what has been the response from the public in keying into this idea?
Okay, so we've seen a lot of downloads so far, and we've seen a lot of people signing up. We've had some interesting topics, that some interesting questions. I don't know if I could say someone else. So we've had women ask about issues around dry vagina. We've had women discuss issues around period and trying to understand their ovulation. So those are some of the things that we've been able to help people with. So we have doctors who are on ground and are chatting with them whenever they have, issues that they need to raise. We've also had women who have been using it to track their menstrual period, to be able to predict when their periods will be starting, preventing what women refers to as accidents, which is stains arising from not understanding when their period will start and all that. So
we've had... It's understandable, them not being too open about such issues.
Oh, yes, definitely.
If you can do that through an app, well, it's a good thing. We're moving forward towards that. So in that scenario, what has, people tend to raise issues regarding whatever problems they have every now and then. So how is the doctors in terms of them keying into this? Do you have already made doctors on ground, or you have people who actually... It's not just to have this app, but you have to link to the medical services themselves. Is it...
Okay, so what we have currently is we have a team of doctors that are the ones that users will be able to chat with via the live chat. Now, when they chat with the doctor, there are basic questions that doctors can answer over the air, because there are also issues around giving prescriptions. We never give prescriptions over the air. So what we do is, after we have found out what the basic issues are, more like some sort of triage, and then we've seen these are the issues, we have a gynecologist that is available. So if there's need for a physical visit, then we recommend them to see the gynecologist, who then takes over from there. So the process starts with the app, and then it goes from the app to the actual physical visit.
Just a one-off question here. What was the motivation for starting this noble idea in the first place? I'm sure you must have gotten inspiration elsewhere, specifically for such problems as you enumerated.
Okay, so I get asked this question a lot anytime I appear on any,
understandably
any interview, particularly when people look at me and they say, I'm surprised you haven't asked the question of, are you a doctor? So that's the first thing people say, are you a doctor? And I'm not a doctor, but I actually studied statistics in the university. And if you look at the menstrual period, it's a cycle, and it's about prediction. And that's basically what statistics is about. So I've had that training, and then I've also interacted with a lot of women in the course of, from university, being in professional career and all that. So I realized from talking to some of them that there are some little salient points they may want to discover. For example, a lot of women are shy, like you rightly mentioned, about discussing issues like this. So we thought that if we're able to give them a way, a cloak of some sort, almost like when you go to a confession, you know, there's someone behind there
but you
that
can't see the priest, but
you can't see the priest, but you can pour your heart out. So we felt, okay, let's give them that opportunity. They're able to talk to the doctor first, and then after they have spoken to the doctor, if they need to take it a step further. So it's about trying to solve problems around health as well as hygiene. You know, another thing that we had is in recent time, we've had a lot of cases around women having issues of molestations, rapes, and most times the challenge for them is the stigmatization, you know, makes them to not want to come forward to speak. And a lot of them do actually have help. Recently, I was talking to a former colleague, and when she told me that, oh, she had been abused before, I was in shock because she made a statement. She said, I've not even told my husband. So when she said that, I was like, okay, if she has that, imagine if there was a way for her to access and speak to a counselor, then the counselor will be able to say, okay, you know what, this is, or these are the steps that you need to take in trying to get a solution to the issues you're having currently.
And it's most unfortunate to have women, hundreds of them, with that kind of scenario.
A whole lot.
All right, let's take a look at that. We're seeing an emergence of tech startups such as yours. How would you describe the scenario for the long term on the economy?
So I'll use an example.
Okay.
Now, what's the purpose of technology? Technology is supposed to make what we do on a normal day-to-day basis better. It's supposed to aggregate things that, for example, we can't easily see, you know, and put it in a way that is easily accessible. Okay. Now, for the long term, if you think about it, look at mobile phone usage.
True.
A lot of people now use mobile apps. A couple of years ago, you know, I made a remark to them in my office one day that when I was in the university, which was not so long ago, we literally, you know, it was a thing of pride to go with your ATM debit card to the ATM machine and say, oh yeah, I'm going to withdraw money. And they could not imagine having to stay in queues. So today, because of technology, I'm able to send you money, for instance, and you can get the money almost instantly. Now, if you look at Google, for example, I'm sure everybody uses Google Maps in Nigeria. True. And Google did not come.
Night, by the way.
You understand? So if you look at it, you see a lot of people. I actually made use of Google to be able to make it here today. I looked at when I would get here based on traffic. You know, in the early hours of the morning, it was 1 hour to get here. By the time I was leaving, it was about 35 minutes. So technology, as it is, can help us achieve a whole lot. For example, looking at traffic, for instance, a lot of money is lost to traffic. When you look at the number of man hours, a lot of people are living way, way, way far from where they work.
So getting real-time data is key.
Yes, is very, very important. Now, one of the issues I encountered with a lady, she said she never used to bother about a period tracker, for example, until she wanted to actively get pregnant. And she needed to be able to know when her ovulation period is. And because the ovulation is what actually determines when a woman can actually, you know, become pregnant. So technology in the long term, we're going to see a whole lot more stuff being used. Imagine Go-Kada, for example.
All right.
Okay, so imagine Go-Kada, for example. It has changed our usual Okada that you just stand outside and call a bike. Now, you can do that via an app, and you can go to so many different places. So technology is here to stay, and it's going to make things a whole lot easier going forward.
And on that note, Oluwaseun Fadiora, founder My-Flair.
Yes, My-Flair.
I think you're doing a good thing here. Many thanks for your thoughts.
Thank you,
thanks for coming.